Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, probably good morning for most of you. Today is the day we get a new Supreme Court justice. President Trump told us he would announce his new pick today and that it would be a woman. And a lot of people on the internet say that it's definitely going to be Amy Coney Barrett. So I'm excited about this announcement. I'm excited because the liberals are going to melt. They already are melting, and they're just going to melt even more tomorrow or today. It's 1 a.m. where I am right now. So but I wanted to talk about what's gonna be on the. That's Brian feverishly typing next to me. I didn't know when it was going to be done, and I didn't want to wait any longer, so we'll just deal with the sound. Anyway, everybody's going to be talking about Roe versus Wade. That they're already talking about it ever since RBG died. That's just been front and center, just abortion. But they're saying it, they're calling it healthcare. They're calling abortion healthcare and women's rights and all this stuff, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how many women are fine with abortion and like up to full term and then just using it as birth control. Anyway, so I read this article. It says, actually, most people don't support Roe versus Wade. It was posted in the Washington Examiner by Timothy Carney on September 21st. And he talks about how most people don't actually understand what Roe versus Wade actually means, including myself. I didn't really know what it meant. I knew that it meant had to do with women having the right to abortion, but I didn't know the details, and probably most people don't. And he's basically says in polls, most people don't understand what it actually means. It says these days liberals are using this to build a claim in a case when talking about how when they get power, they're just going to take everybody's rights away. That's what they're telling women and how they're wording it. So they're calling it healthcare, taking healthcare away. And he says this is fundamentally a false claim, though. Most people say they support Roe v. Wade, but that's because most people don't know what Roe did, and they don't know what overturning it would mean. Roe invented a constitutional right to have an abortion up until the moment before birth. Did you know that? I didn't. Only about 18% of the public supports that position. I'm actually surprised that many do, according to a recent poll by Marist and NPR. He says this absolute right to any abortion at any time has been pared back in the nearly 50 years since Roe, and some states have gotten away with some restrictions on abortion. But Roe, as it stands today, is still an extreme federal power grab that prevents states from protecting mothers and their babies. A majority in a recent CBS poll, 54%, want abortion more restricted than it currently is. That is a de facto endorsement of overturning or at least paring back Roe. Consider the court's 2 recent rulings on state regulations of abortion clinics in Texas and Louisiana. The justices striking down the regulations based their rulings on Roe. Consider what the Kaiser Family Foundation found in a January poll. A majority, 69% of the public, support laws requiring abortions to be performed solely by doctors who have hospital admitting privileges, similar to a Louisiana law in question in a case that will be heard at the Supreme Court this term. That survey, however, also found that a majority don't want Roe overturned. How can that be? Most likely because a huge portion of the population believes that overturning Roe would outlaw all abortion. That's what people think, because that's how they're portraying it. That's how they're teaching it. That's how they're wording it. They don't realize that overturning Roe would return most abortion to being a state issue, which is exactly how it should be. 100%. There is a majority support for requiring a 24-hour waiting period, and for requiring doctors to show the mother an ultrasound of her baby before an abortion. Now, those are very sound things to require. When Planned Parenthood pulled specifically on Supreme Court precedents protecting abortions up to 24 weeks, a majority opposed the precedent and wanted 20-week bans. So they actually wanted the bans to be even earlier. They wanted at least 20-week bans. Poll questions on Roe v. Wade often don't describe the ruling's effects. Often they mischaracterize them, implying or stating that Roe protects abortion only in the first 3 months. They typically say Roe legalized abortion, implying that overturning it would outlaw abortion. He goes on to say, so politicians and reporters will continue to say that most people support Roe, but that's because our media have misled most people on what Roe does and what overturning it does. So I just wanted to educate you guys on that if you didn't know that, because it's going to be a topic of conversations a lot, and they're going to be crying and screaming and lying and twisting the truth. Overturning Roe does not ban abortions. It makes abortions a state issue. And as it currently stands, it is a constitutional right for a woman to kill her baby up until the day it's born. So who supports that? Like, there can't be that many people. According to polls, it's 18%. But the other thing is requiring the woman to see an ultrasound. That makes all the sense in the world, especially because in high school they're teaching the boys and the girls, they're teaching this in health class, that it's a clump of cells. They're literally teaching that it's a clump of cells. And I've talked to these people on the streets. I've debated people. I've had these conversations with these young people, and they were shaking and freaking out when I was telling them that abortion is murder. They could not, they didn't know how to defend their stance on that. They couldn't tell me at what point it was okay. Most people don't, because people don't think about it. They don't think about deeply. They just think, oh yeah, a woman should have a right to choose. Or they'll say in the first 3 months it's okay. But they don't think deeply about so is it the heartbeat? Is it feeling pain? Most people don't want to think about that. But do we want to live in a society that values life in all stages or not? I mean, we're talking about we currently live in a society where basically infanticide is legal. You can kill a completely viable baby in the womb legally. So I don't know what kind of society I know what kind of society I want to live in. I value life, human life, the entire pregnancy. Anyway, I just wanted to educate you guys on that and inform you, and so that when you have conversations with people, you can explain to them that overturning Roe gives states the right. The people of the state can vote on whether or not they want to live in a pro-abortion state or not. And also, the other point is that currently, as it stands, you can kill your baby up until the day it's born. And anyway, that's all I've got. I look forward to the announcement, and you all have a nice, wonderful day.